Hey everyone, so on today's episode we're going to dig deep, really deep, into the 7 things I love about the film Diamonds Are Forever, and that's beginning right now. So when it comes to Diamonds Are Forever, am I the biggest fan of it? No. But that being said, it does have its merits to it. Truth be told, if I was going to do a massive ranking of all the James Bond films, Diamonds Are Forever wouldn't really rank very highly on my list. I've always felt the film was okay, it has its moments, it has its charm, but overall it's probably one of the lesser Bonds. It's not really, I think, one of the great all-time greats, or on that note, one of Sean Connery's really great ones either. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we're here to look at the 7 things that I really love about Diamonds Are Forever. And as I mentioned, I had to, at the later stages, dig deep, really deep. But there are 7 things in this film I really do feel stand out, and I am very happy to say that I am a fan of in this film. But before we get into this list, everyone, can I ask, if you haven't already, do give us a like, comment and subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so if you can help us reach that mark, it would be absolutely amazing. So without further ado, here is the first one in my list of 7 things that I love about Diamonds Are Forever. Right off the bat, Diamonds Are Forever has, in my opinion, some of the greatest henchmen of all time in the entire Bond series, Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. These two as a duo henchmen are some of the creepiest, I think most disturbing henchmen in the entire Bond franchise. Very sincerely, if I was ever to do, and probably will do one day everyone, a list of top 10 henchmen in the Bond franchise, you better believe that Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd would definitely rank somewhere in the top 3. I think these two are such an interesting dynamic duo for Bond to face against, and it's just how they act to each other, how they sort of talk to each other, calling them by their second names. It just makes it so much more eerie, and there's just something about them that I think when they're on screen, I feel they just capture every moment they are in. I think from their opening with the Scorpion and the Doctor all the way to Bond fighting them at the end on the boat, every time they're on screen, I think the film just elevates itself. It gets a whole new dynamic to it, which for me really adds the excitement that is in Diamonds Are Forever. Now, I will mention here, obviously this is a very bad, if you will, representation of a gay couple, but again, this is from the early 70s. It's at a stage where, unfortunately, back then, to be seen as gay was a bit sort of evil. Luckily, thank God, it's very, very different now, which I'm really happy to say. But for me, the gay relationship between the two doesn't factor into why I love these two as henchmen at all. If anything, I think the bond they have between each other really enhances their characters and gives them a dynamic layer of like, yes, we're evil, we're psycho, we're going to do this together, loving each other. I just think adds to it so well. So for me, definitely the first thing I can think about when it comes to a positive, when it comes to Diamonds Are Forever, without a shadow of a doubt, is the awesome characters of Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. The next thing on my list, very much so, is that I think amazing fight scene between Bond and Peter Franks in that elevator. I think just narrowing down the space that you've got to have a fight sequence and then bashing into things, not being able to do your full punches or struggling for movement and position in such a confined space, was a really, really great action sequence. I think the elevator fight scene at the beginning of Diamonds Are Forever is better than the car chase scene in Las Vegas, the big finale at the end of the film. I just feel this is such a great and quite different fight scene. Normally in fight scenes, as I mentioned, you have a bit of space where you can do sort of really cool different things, but by going against that and narrowing it and containing it, I think it just makes it more intense, much more interesting to watch. And I also feel very, very strongly it just is something different we don't actually normally see, even in today's modern films. So, full credit's due. A very small, if you will, fight scene in the movie, but something I feel that really stands out. Definitely that Bond versus Peter Franks in the elevator scene. Fantastic one-to-one fight scene. The next thing on my list, without a shadow of doubt, I think I really must give a massive shout out to John Barry's score in Diamonds Are Forever and Shirley Bassey's Diamonds Are Forever title song. These, I think, are some of the best music that John Barry really truly did in the franchise. I think the Diamonds Are Forever soundtrack is It's got so much different flavour to it. It's dangerous. It suits the locations where it needs to be. It can be really tenseful and dramatic. It can be really soft and gentle and easy. Honestly, John Barry throughout this whole score really gives a great range to the music of James Bond, I feel, in this. And you can't deny that, like such other songs like Goldfinger and Live and Let Die and Skyfall in recent years, the song Diamonds Are Forever has transcended beyond just being a James Bond song to some real sort of zeitgeist important song of history. I know people who might not like the Bond series, but my god, they do know Diamonds Are Forever as a song, and they all absolutely love it. I love the song Diamonds Are Forever. I think it's a great ballad. I think it was just elevated times 20 to the fact that Dame Shirley Bassey sung it. So yeah, a real another positive I actually give to Diamonds Are Forever is John Barry's score and Shirley Bassey's title song of Diamonds Are Forever. Iconic. So the next thing I really love about Diamonds Are Forever, this is a very small thing, but again, it's important to us Bond fans. It is definitely the gun barrel sequence for Diamonds Are Forever. There's so many things I like about this. I think I like the pacing of the gun barrel. I love the version of the Bond song they're using here in the gun barrel. And also, I always like it when the gun barrels have their own little unique thing. And again, I mentioned little unique thing. I'm looking at you, Craig's Bond gun barrels. But the fact that this gun barrel sparkles and shines a bit, alluding to like the title Diamonds Are Forever, giving it that little uniqueness as well, it just adds a little something to the sequence. So yeah, that's really all I can say about this small little thing. But yeah, I really do love the Diamonds Are Forever gun barrel sequence. So the next thing on my list, without a shadow of a doubt, is a sequence a lot of you Bond fans might not really think or give that much attention to, which is fair enough. But for me, the bit where Bond is knocked unconscious, locked in the coffin, ready to be incinerated by Mr. Winter, Mr. Kidd, again, shout out to those two, I thought was terrific as a kid. Bond is unconscious, he gets no gadgets, there's no way out of this situation as far as I can see. How the hell is he going to get out of this? I remember watching this and just thinking, oh my god, what's going to happen? The fire is blazing down, he's strapped, he's struggling, he can't really move. How is honestly Bond going to get out of this whole predicament? I was literally like, I remember just watching this first time, just literally like looking forward like this, thinking, oh my god, how's he going to get out of it? How's he going to get out of it? Obviously, he does get out of it in a very, actually, I think, fun and interesting, unique way, actually. But I always remember that from this film. Like, that was a situation where I think Bond, if he didn't have that lucky side of him, really would have been toast. So moving on from that, the next thing I love about Diamonds Are Forever is actually the first half of the movie. In the book Diamonds Are Forever, the diamond smuggling sort of plot is a bit iffy, it's a bit vague, it's not actually really that good to read. But I feel like the first half of this film, where Bond is chasing down the diamond smuggling ring, it's actually really good. How it's set up, how it's explained, going to Holland and then to Las Vegas. I feel it's only actually when we finally see Blofeld again that it sort of goes downhill quite dramatically. But the first half of this film, with Bond going through the chain, actually hunting the diamond smugglers, for me, just personally, really worked actually quite well on film. I love how Bond here is truly being a real investigating detective here. I always think actually in the Bond series, when Bond really is being much more investigative and much more of the detective spying side of Bond, it always ends up being some really, really great stuff. So I'll just give kudos basically to the first half of this movie before we really start getting the reveal of Blofeld halfway through. You had me hooked in there, but for then I think that's when the massive problems really start in the second half of this movie. So the last thing that I really love about Diamonds Are Forever is actually not in the film, but what the film actually started. For those who don't know, Sean Connery was wooed back into playing James Bond for a record sum of money, as well as a 2-picture deal with United Artists. But with that money that he earned playing Bond in Diamonds Are Forever, he started up a trust fund, a Scottish International Trust Fund, which helps so many creative people get access to money to launch their dreams in the creative industry as long as they stayed in Scotland. And I can't separate this film from the fact that Sean Connery helped probably so many people in Scotland get that first leg up in the industry, gave them a way of like presenting their passion, their creativity to people, whether it being writing, playwriting, directing, you name it. And it's a trust that's still goes on today. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I think a great way to end the 7 things that I love about Diamonds Are Forever, knowing that whenever I watch this film probably launched so many people's careers, helped so many people in the creative industry, and I think it's brilliant just because of that. But that, as I said, is the 7 things that I love about Diamonds Are Forever. But I want to know, what do you think about my list? Do you disagree with it? Do you not disagree with it? I want to know. Comment down below and tell me your thoughts about it as well. As always, everyone, my name is Henry, and I am the Bond Geek. Goodbye.